Hey guys, what's going on? Sherman here. Long time no review. I did a first impressions kind of overview of this knife when I first got it back about a month and a half ago, I believe. But now I wanted to come back and do a full in-depth review for you guys after some use and after some carry. I've been carrying this knife non-stop every day since I got it. I've been carrying it with me at home, at work. This has been in my constant rotation, and I absolutely love this knife. And this knife is the Kershaw Launch 1. This is one in 3 knives in the Launch series by Kershaw, all of which are autos. All of them have a different design, and they're all coming in cool new colors now. You know, when this was sent to me to review, they just came in the black. Now they come in lime green, not lime green, I'm sorry, OD green, red, purple, some cool colors. Maybe even lime green in some places. I haven't seen them yet, but so come in cool colors now. All of which, though, each one in the series has a unique blade. The Launch 1, this one, has the black wash finish. I believe it's the Launch 2, maybe the 3, so don't quote me on it. But I'll just say one of them has a DLC coated blade, and the other one has a, I believe it's a stonewash and satin finish blade. But all of which have a slightly different blade shape and different handle design. So all 3 of the knives are different. The 1, 2, and 3 aren't just, different sizes. They're actually all very different knives from each other, which is really cool. This one is my favorite in the series, though. This was sent to me for the purpose of this review by my buddy Jeff, aka California Weapons Guy, aka Bladeworks USA, which is his company name. He is a knife dealer now. So definitely go and check him out. I've known him for several years. We've been real good friends for years. But he has gotten into the knife retail business. So if you guys are looking into getting any knife, he can get a hold of knives brand new and older, or brand new and even much older knives at very, very good prices. He can compete and beat most anybody, if not everybody's prices on any knife you're going to be looking at. So definitely check him out. I'll put a link to his website in the description and to his Instagram. But like I said, I am absolutely in love with this knife. It is a sweet knife and a great value, but I'll get to that in a little bit. So like I said, this is the Launch 1. The model number on this is 7100 BW for a black wash. Like I said, because this has Kershaw's black wash finish on the blade, which is really sweet, which is basically, it's a titanium nitride that they stonewash, and it gives it that kind of it is black, but it's also more like a gunmetal, like a titanium nitride. But very sweet. I really like that little, kind of like the little harpoon thing going on here, like you see a lot of the harpoon shaped blades. So it does have that kind of little swoop up there, unsharpened swedge, flat ground. Really, really sweet shape on that blade. I love the blade shape and the handle shape. Get the quick technical specs out of the way. The overall length of this knife is 8 inches. You can see it is a pretty good sized knife. The blade length is right under 3 3/4 inches, and the weight is 3.9 ounces. But I can say it honestly feels a little bit lighter than 3.9. I think that's kind of a generous weight that I got all these specs off of Blade HQ. I'm not calling them liars. I'm just saying it feels lighter to me than 3.9. It feels like it's under 3.5 ounces. So if you're really picky about weight, not fancy, then this is probably going to be good for you, because it feels really, really light. And as pretty much all has to do with the solid aluminum handles. That's it, just the aluminum frame. No steel except for in the blade and the hardware. So very lightweight construction, especially for a larger knife such as this one. Like I said, let me get you a closer look at that black wash blade. See Kershaw Auto laser etched there. There's a model number, made in the USA. And there's your blade steel, and looky, what is that? CPM 154 steel, which is incredible, because most of the time you're going to see 14C28N which is a Sandvik steel. Not that there's anything really wrong with it. I've just never been a big fan of the Sandvik steel that Kershaw uses. A lot of people love it, swear by it, and like I said, I have nothing really bad to say about it. I've just never really liked it. Sometimes you'll come across S30V. I really like CPM 154. Now there is a difference between CPM 154 and 154 CM. And not a huge difference, but CPM 154 is made by Crucible, same people that make S30V, S35VN, all that good stuff. Crucible Metals is it's a powdered steel, so on and so forth. Not going to get into the metallurgy of it, but it is different than 154 CM that like Benchmade uses. Not that it's necessarily better. Some people may argue and bring up all these different facts about why it's better, molecularly why it's better, but I don't notice that much of a difference. But I think that it is technically considered an upgrade to 154 CM. Like I said, I'm not here to get into a steel debate, but what I am saying is that I love CPM 154 and I love 154 CM. It is an overall really, really good steel. Both of them are. So that, to me, is a huge steel upgrade compared to the 14C28N. And they could have also made it HCR13 MOV, but they didn't. So that's also really cool. I would have gotten the price point down a little bit, but this is already a very affordable knife. But anyway, enough of that. So the edge came razor sharp right out of the box. I hesitate to use the word resharpened, because really all I did was I just matched the angle and just kind of polished it with my fine stone. So it was already razor sharp. I just made it just a little bit more and stropped it. So right out of the box, razor sharp like all Kershaws are in my experience. So no worries about that. Take a look at that handle. Really good looking handle shape. Very ergonomic. All the edges have been chamfered. You see these really cool 3D, or not 3D, but these really cool milled out areas of the handle. Looks really good and really adds to the ergonomics. On the non-show side, on the pocket clip side of the knife, well, it's reversible, so the non-show side, you see a reverse flag laser etch, which looks really cool. I really like that little added effect that they gave it. That was really neat. It's reverse, so that's pretty cool. Down here you have the pocket clip, which I believe was first on the Skyline. I believe that's when this design debuted. One of my favorite pocket clips by Kershaw to date. So that's really cool. But the pocket clip on this model is black oxide. It is reversible, left and right hand carry, but tip up only, which is fine by me. I only carry tip up knives. That's just my preference. Very minimalistic in terms of the design. Just 3 screws, sorry, here connecting the frame. You can't see it on this side, so that's pretty cool. Gives a very clean look on this side, with the exception of the pocket clip screw holes there. But very clean. They're recessed. You don't feel them. Just really nice. And the pocket clip is mounted pretty much as far up as they can go. Here again, I don't know if anybody's really going to complain about it, except for I'm fancy. But enough of that. The spine is really cool. It looks like an integral knife, but it is 2 pieces. It's just very nicely done. You cannot feel the seams on this one. Looks really cool. All 3 of the knives in the launch series have a cool spine of the handle design, a cool back design. One of them has just holes drilled in it, I believe. Another one has a cool, different little wavy, not wavy, but looks like a spine effect. But this one has these little divots. They look like little Tic Tac holes. Sorry, that's what they remind me of, though. So very cool looking. They do collect lint, so I find myself kind of sticking my pinky in there. Sometimes getting a Q-tip in there and cleaning them out. You can see it collected my skin. It's disgusting. But anyway, it does have a lanyard hole. A lot of you are thinking, Sherman, you high on crack? I don't see a lanyard hole on there. Well, that's because it is hidden. They worked the lanyard hole in with the spine, with the back side of the handle design. It looks really, really cool. So basically what they did is they just took one of those little milled out pockets and just drilled at an angle, at a slanted angle. Drilled straight down into this one. So you don't even really notice it when you're just looking at it. But it is a lanyard hole. Now, I'm not a big fan of how they did it. I think it's really ingenious how they did it. You know, they solved the problem of having a lanyard hole. You know, it probably may have been an afterthought, I don't know. But a lot of people love having lanyard holes. I can take it or leave it. It's a nice added feature just in case I wanted to. So I think how they did it, how they executed it was brilliant. It looks really cool, but the problem is, and I don't have a piece of cord here to really demonstrate. Let me use a piece of twine actually. It doesn't go inside the frame. It is closed off. It's just a hole drilled into it. So you put it in there, it's just a swoop. Now it gets kind of hung up. There's a little lip right there, but with paracord it's much easier. But the thing about how it's designed is that it sits way away from where it's clipped into your pocket. And I have actually attached a lanyard to this and put it in my pocket just to see what it's like. Alright, so imagine that's in your pocket, and then here's the lanyard just kind of hanging off to the side somewhere. You know, when I'm carrying a knife and I have a lanyard, you know, I like the lanyard to be sticking, you know, straight up a little bit or off to the side of my pocket just a little bit. This just kind of sticks up and hangs wherever. Now I know it's a poor example using a piece of twine instead of an actual lanyard, but now you may get this, carry lanyard on it, and absolutely love it. So I'm not knocking it, it's not a con. It's just a thing that I personally don't like, and I would probably never put a lanyard on this and carry it like that. So that's just me though. But I do think it is really cool how they did that lanyard hole. I've never seen anything like that before, and I think they did that with one of the other launches. They kind of hid the lanyard hole in the design. One of them just doesn't have a lanyard hole. But anyway, so that's very cool. Like I said, the edges are all nicely rounded. It's a really, really nice hard anodized T6 aluminum. It's an aircraft grade aluminum they used for the handles. Really cool, kind of a custom pivot. Never seen that pivot design on any other Kershaw knife. Maybe on a ZT, I can't remember. But it is a dual pivot, kind of like Spyderco does, so you're going to have to hold that one down. Chances are you're going to have to hold that one down with one Torx bit and then loosen the other side with another Torx bit. Inconvenient, pain in the butt. I don't like when they do those double pivot screw heads. I don't know what they're called. But I don't care for that. Spyderco does it a lot, and I just can't stand it. But anyway, they did that. It looks cool. It's black oxide. It looked good with the black oxide bladed version of the launch. It matched very well. Anyway, here's the firing button. They also recessed all the firing buttons differently on all the models. This one has a huge cutout for your finger. Very nice. It is not completely flush. I don't know if I'm going to be able to accurately show you guys. It's not completely flush with the handle. You can feel it stick up just a little bit. I think every one of them is going to be a little different though. You know, the tolerances on a knife in this price range are going to vary. So I think it's going to be a little bit different. But you do have a good size firing button. It's smaller and it's easy to tell the difference between it and the pivot. That is your firing button and also your lock release. So it's an automatic out the side button lock, otherwise known as a plunge lock, I believe. So what you have in there, without going into too much detail, you have that raised portion right here, kind of, you know, up here. You can see on that side right there. When the blade is deployed and is open, that comes forward or down and locks into a flat portion on the underside of the tang, kind of like an axis lock. Think about how a Benchmade axis lock works. You have the flat tang on the spine side of the blade, and the lock comes in and blocks it. So a plunge lock or a button lock of an automatic, or even just manual button locking knives, that's how they work. They work kind of like an axis lock. So that's how this works. And how it's closed is it has a circular cutout in the opposite side of the blade, in the bottom side of the spine, and then the same lock locks into that cutout and keeps the knife closed. One of my only gripes with this knife is I cannot stand that bullseye red paint they put on there. I know they did it because it's, you know, Kershaw red. You know, Kershaw, all their boxes are red now with some bullseyes or something, but it just reminds me of the Target logo. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. It looks kind of conspicuous. It looks kind of cheesy. I've really contemplated just trying to scrape that off somehow. I think, though, they fixed that. I think the newer versions of the launch, especially the colorized handle versions, I think the button is all black. Could be wrong, but I think it's blacked out, which is what I'd like to see. But anyway, just something I want to just mention real quick. When I first got this knife, the button it's still kind of a little bit, it's kind of crunchy. You know, it wasn't a smooth button. You would slowly press it in, you just hear just metal scraping metal. And what it was just, you know, burrs. It was a rough surface of that lock scraping the tang of the blade. So the tang was probably roughly cut, the button was roughly cut. They weren't smoothed, and it just kind of made a little bit of noise. I just hit my table. You can still hear it with this one a little bit. You can kind of, and it kind of works its way out. I've taken the knife apart. I polished the lock. I polished the little part that actually locks into the tang of the blade. I polished the cutout in the blade, and it has gone away substantially. Now you can just only kind of hear it when you're looking for it, basically. But it made a much more smooth press, and I'm extremely pleased with it now. Now, that's probably not going to be the case with all the models. That's just going to be one of the little, you know, variants you're going to have. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to fire it out. I'm just going to kind of limp wrist it just to show you guys some of the kick this thing has. Do that again. This thing has some kick. It is a very strong spring they have in this thing. I mean, it's not ridiculously strong, but it is very strong. It does want to rebound a little bit. What I mean by that is when the blade comes out, it comes out so hard that before the time the spring in the plunge lock can lock the blade forward, can lock the blade closed, the blade actually hits the stop pin and bounces back. Now, I have had this thing rebound when I've been deploying it to the point where it actually doesn't lock. I've had it happen a couple of times, but I don't really think that it's a safety hazard, because it has only done it about 3 different times. I don't know if I can get it to do it for you guys on camera, but what I notice is that it does it when I hold the button down too long, and basically not letting the button spring do its job. And you know, I'm holding the button down too long, and I'm releasing as it's just in the right position to rebound. So I think it was more or less user error than it is any kind of fault with the knife itself. The lock is very strong. There's a lot of tests you can see online about the button lock. I know that Hogue Knives put out some videos, and the Hogue EX01, they did some tests on it. Alan Elishewitz himself, who designed the EX01, a lot of those Hogue knives, maybe even all the Hogue knives actually, and he did some testing videos of his own, and the button locks are just extremely solid. So, not saying that this is exactly like it, but I have high hopes for this button lock. So I think it'll be perfect for you guys. Like I said, ergonomics are amazing on this knife. Just a good finger guard right there, or a finger choil, I mean. You do have a very large ricasso on this knife. So let's just say the lock did fail. Not a whole lot of that blade is going to come in contact with your fingers. Now, of course, under extreme stress, maybe. But you have a deep ricasso to kind of help with that, and also to really help with resharpening of that blade. But ergonomics are great. No hot spots in this handle design because everything's nicely smooth, chamfered, and I just really like the feel of aluminum. It just feels really good. Feels soft in the hand. As I said, ergonomics are great. Deployment speed is fantastic. Super quick. You know, deploy it reverse grip. Reverse grip feels great because you already have that natural, almost a flat portion right there for your thumb. It's great. Let's see if I can take a look down in the frame here. See, it's just solid aluminum. No milling, because it's not needed, except for the milled out portion where these springs are. Now, one thing to mention, I'm not sure if this is normal for automatics. Automatics are kind of a new territory for me. And I don't know if you guys can see down in there. This knife has no washers. It has no washers, no bearings. What it does have is that the part of the frame where there would normally be a washer is slightly raised up. It's kind of like a square design like that. So it's almost like an integrated washer. And it looks kind of funky. And I was looking at this when I first got it. I'm like, where are the washers? It just looks like the blade is floating in there. But that's what it is. It is a raised portion on the inside of that frame to kind of act as an integrated washer, I guess. I don't know how common that is with automatics, or maybe that's just something that they did specifically with this knife. Not sure why they did that, but this knife is extremely smooth. They did smooth out those flat portions though, so that's cool. But it is very smooth. So that's neat. One less, or two less parts to worry about. So, very nice. Like I said, deployment speed, fantastic. Lockup is great. A little bit of side to side right now, but that's because I just have it loosened a little bit to make the speed just even more. Oh, see, I got it to do it. On camera, it rebounded and didn't lock up. That's because I held my thumb down. So it didn't do it again. But when you just press it real quick, locks up every time. Hold thumb down. So, just something to think about. I just wanted to offer this disclaimer. Automatic knives are still illegal in many, many states. And if you are a minor and you are found with an automatic knife on you, it's going to look kind of bad. So think about that going into purchasing an automatic knife. If you're into this knife and you want it, just do your own research and read up on it what you can, gather the information necessary. If you still don't feel comfortable, then just don't carry it. Buy it. You can legally buy it, I think, with the exception of California, maybe New York, where you can't even have them shipped to your home. Automatic knives are still heavily discriminated against. It's ridiculous, but the discriminations are out there. So just think about that. There's a lot of kind of red tape when it comes to automatic knives. So just want to throw that out there, just talk about that just for a second, offer that little disclaimer that, they're still considered evil and bad in the mainstream media. So, now, got that out of the way, let's talk about price. These things are selling on every website I could find for under $100. Yeah, under $100 for a really good, really sweet, well-made automatic knife, made here in America, all U.S. materials, premium in my opinion anyway, steel, under $100. That is amazing in my opinion. So you're going to be hard-pressed to get a better deal. Now I know you can get the Boker AK-47 knives. Those things, I've heard mixed opinions, say they're trash, say they're actually kind of good. Those are like $30 knives. This is more, it's going to be a little bit more, but you're going to get what you pay for. You're going to get a lot better knife. So my buddy Jeff can hook you guys up for even less than what these are going for everywhere else. And he can get the new colors as well. Like I said, I would love to have the DLC coated version with the red handles that look really sweet. But anyway, guys, that was my review. I highly recommend this knife and pretty much any knife in the launch series. They're all going to be about the same quality. They're just going to look a little different. These are just really, really sweet knives. Like I said, highly recommend them. Lockup's great, speed's great, ergonomics great. Edge came perfect out of the box, centering's great. Everything you look for. If you're in the market for an automatic knife, highly, highly recommend this blade. Automatics are just fun to play with. Like I said, if you can legally carry them, definitely do so because they're really nice. So, Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments box, guys. Alright, hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay sharp, and God bless. Sherman614, peace.